You're on.
All right, we are calling to order the Special and Contact Committee meeting, starting this evening at 7 PM, 7:01, I think. Doing a roll call. Tom,
Present.
Cheryl,
Here,
and alternate is Mitch,
Here.
and myself. I'm here. Gonna do guess, correct? We talked guess, okay, guess. Guys, state your name and association for this meeting, if you're here for this meeting.
Kerry Metzger, I'm chairman of the Empowered Texas Coalition here in this state. John Reed, National Senator. I'm Jim Isley, I'm here representing that.
Okay. So first on the agenda for this evening, we have a liquor permit renewal for Primo Hospitality LLC, doing business as Uncle Primo's. I spoke with the chief of police and the health department. There were no complaints issued against them, no violations or anything. So discussion on this one, do we feel that we need to have a public hearing on this one?
If you don't have any complaints.
no, I don't think so.
That's been the practice, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then, we'll take a vote on that to move it forward, to, where's it gonna go?
Voice vote.
Voice vote.
Okay, so we'll move it to the regular, council meeting for a voice vote. So we'll take roll call on that one. Cheryl?
Oh,
Need a
we
vote?
need to make a motion
need to
and
make a
have it
motion.
seconded.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you. Sorry,
And
this is
I'll-
my first meeting, so,
All right.
I'll second
thank you.
that.
All right, take a vote then. Tom?
Aye, yes.
Cheryl?
Yes,
And I say yes also, so we'll put that on the meeting for this evening. Next up will be ordinance number 4, 2024. This is an ordinance to amend ordinance 141, repealing section 14104, mandating creation of a special police office unit consisting of retired officers. We don't utilize that, we now utilize auxiliary police department. So is there any conversation or questions or concerns about that one?
What's this about? Yeah.
So I sent these out, so, one second. So this one is, there was a ordinance at one time, to create a special police officer unit, using retired police officers. We never utilize that, we use an auxiliary police, so we're, getting rid of that with this ordinance,
I mean,
that verbiage.
is this something we need? I don't understand it. What do you think?
If I could address, there's several of these that I met with the mayor over a few months ago, that are really just an effort to clean up our administrative code, by repealing things that we don't use or changing things so that they're more updated. And this is something that we don't use, which is a special police officer unit. We really use an auxiliary police force, that is the functional equivalent of this, and so we're just repealing it, so it's no longer on the books.
We're repealing it and replacing it?
No, we already have an auxiliary police force in
This just repeals.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just repeals the special.
Okay.
Cheryl, any?
I would ask Mr. Popman, safety director, if he has anything to say on this.
I was asked about this a couple months ago, and my thought on it is that, and originally it was put into place for if a officer that had retired from the police department and he just wanted to maintain his certification, that we could sign them up as a special. And we have done that with several. And I would be against taking that off the books because we do currently use it. There are some people, and a matter of fact, the police chief just asked me if we could convert one of the auxiliary officers over to a special. So we do use it.
I was under the impression it wasn't being used anymore when I met with the administration.
Can we table that one?
If that's the
Look into it
case, then
further?
table it.
Okay. Well, then ordinance 4/2024 will be tabled for now.
You have to,
Sorry.
you have to vote. to
Oh,
table.
sorry. All right, take a vote on that one. Do I need a motion to
Need a
table it?
Yes. I'll move.
Okay, need a second?
I'll second
Okay,
tabling that.
all right, take a vote. Tom,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes,
and I vote yes also. So we are tabling ordinance number 4/2024. Next up is ordinance 5/2024. This amends an ordinance 159, where if you were sick, you had to have a visit with the city nurse. And we do not use that anymore. Is that correct?
I wanna double check with the administration on that. Are we using the city nurse? I didn't think we were, right?
Say again?
We're not using the city nurse to go check on employees anymore, is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. You're not using the city nurse to check on employees anymore?
Do we do something else, or what do you do? Note from your mother?
Well, most of them are by contract.
It contractually, we have it written in what the procedure is if you report off of work, sick.
I don't know.
Cheryl?
what I'm hearing is that we don't use this particular thing anymore. Most of it's covered by contracts and the employee handbook, correct?
Right.
If you call off sick. So it sounds like we don't need this
Okay.
anymore.
Let's take a vote then to put this on, for the next meeting's agenda, for a vote.
So you guys agree, you agree? We don't need this anymore?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I've seen all the
You
contracts.
put this together, right?
No, this long predated me. This was,
1960s, is that?
yeah, I think this was in the 1960s.
He put together the repeal, is that what you
Oh, I put
mean?
together repeal. I thought you meant the
You had
original
some
ordinance.
rationale for doing that too, so,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
I'll move.
yeah, we need a motion
I'll
and a
do
second.
motion. You do a motion, I'll second it.
Okay, I move that we put ordinance, proposed ordinance number 5/2024 on the agenda.
Second,
All right, take a vote. Cheryl?
Yes,
Tom?
yes.
And I vote yes also. So we will be putting ordinance number 5/2024 on the next meeting.
Okay, the February 26th.
Yes. Next up is ordinance number 6/2024. This one is to repeal ordinance 778, closing out and fire sales, we no longer utilize by the city and deem no longer necessary. Do you have any input on that?
Just that in the past, well, actually what the ordinance calls for is that you come in and you pay a fee to the service director's office. The service director's office has to do an inventory, but to my knowledge, nobody's doing that on fire sales. That was a minimal fee, and to my knowledge, it's just not being utilized.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah. Correct.
We need to get rid of it?
I'm sorry?
Is this a proposal?
Go ahead.
Just a real quick comment, I think a lot of these are just kind of cleaning up the books, so to speak. Except for maybe the first one, so I don't know if it's,
there's a couple more I had questions on, but this one I don't have questions on.
I do know too, I think some of the visitors tonight, not to supersede what we're talking about, but are here for the DORA. So I don't know if we wanna maybe speed it up a little bit, because we've got about 20 minutes. Not to be pushy or anything, but
But yes,
that's all I got.
All right, do we have a motion to put this on the agenda for the next council meeting?
I'll move.
and
Cheryl?
I'll second.
All right, take a vote. Cheryl?
Yes,
Tom?
Yes.
And I vote yes also, so we'll be putting ordinance number 6/2024 on the next council meeting. Ordinance 7, 2024 is amend ordinance 14502. Current ordinance does not reflect updated city departments. And so we need to redo that so it actually lists the departments. I know Cheryl has a lot of questions on this one.
Yeah, and you got my questions,
Yeah,
copy of my,
and Marvin's gonna be the one to answer those questions for you.
so you wanna put this on, just on hold till the
Yeah,
next
let's-
meeting?
You wanna table this till and so we can discuss this? I'll get this list of questions to Marvin, and we can go from there. Do I get a motion to table this?
I moved to table proposed ordinance number 7, 2024.
Okay, vote, Cheryl?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
I vote yes to table ordinance 7, 2024. The last one we have is ordinance 8, 2024. Amend ordinance 16601. This ordinance does not reflect current duties of the city's building inspector. And I know Cheryl has a lot of questions on this, so I feel like we should go ahead and table this one also, while we get those questions answered by those that need to be answered them. So do I get a motion to table this one also till we get those answers?
I move that we table proposed ordinance number 8, 2024 till the next meeting.
Second?
I'll say,
All right, take a vote. Cheryl?
Yes.
Tom?
yes.
And I vote yes to table ordinance 8, 2024 till we get some more information. All right, last up, discussion on DORA. There's a lot of questions on this across the board. I'll be honest with you right now. I am still gathering information, so this is way beginning stages of this whole process. Do I open it up to them? So I'll take any comments and
Do we speak
Concerned.
first or the public speak first?
Committee can speak first,
you can, yeah,
yes.
you have something to say?
My particular opinion is that this is something we probably should explore. Input I've received is though that we should show some caution and regulation in this. We just don't open up downtown open container, but it would be confined to certain festivals, and art festivals, events, specific things. And with the approval of the police department, that they're able to properly manage such an event. That's my initial reaction to it. Not just it just is open the doors, but it's specific events. Now, I don't know whether that involves a permit, or you have to get a license for it or whatever, but that's my gut.
Cheryl, do you have anything?
You know, I had a lot of questions about this too. And part of what I emailed you, and I'd be happy to forward that to anybody. Somehow the email didn't work on the other members of the committee. But anyways, section 4301.82 of the Ohio Revised Code regulates designated outdoor refreshment areas. And I pointed out in my email, which Mike has, that we need to follow the procedure that's listed in this section, and that has not been done. It's actually an idea now presented to council, and so we need to, like Tom said, exercise caution on this and be very careful of the message that we're sending, especially to our youth. And so I anticipate there's going to be time taken on this because it is, to me, a very huge thing, especially with our message, our city's mission, which is to be family-friendly, family-oriented, and there's a lot of things to consider in this. And I also in the email, mentioned all stakeholders should be involved. And some of them are here tonight. And so it's going to take time to discuss this out, and that's what I want to anticipate.
Well, that's
Time
what you're gonna
taken
get.
and discussion.
That's for sure what you're gonna get. You know, Mr. Nisley and I talked for a long period of time on the phone the other night, or other day, and, I had a lot of questions. And those answers, you know, we still need to wait, get those answers. There's a lot of opinion from the community that, we're gonna get. The thought process was possibly having a meeting, not on a council night, where we would have some time to allow visitors to speak their 10 minutes of time and give us their opinions, and go from there. That would be my thought. That's my thought process. Mitch, do you have anything?
You know, I've read up on this, and I think Mr. Nisley's done a great job as far as collecting the information from other towns, mayors, police chiefs. And I personally don't think we should hinder, obviously, we don't want to just open the floodgates and then, I don't know, if we don't try it, we don't know what the ramifications will be.
I want to say
Wait a minute.
don't know if you can yet.
Just one
Committee's
second.
talking.
That's kind of where I'm at. I know we also want the city image of people falling down drunk in the street. But if we don't, we might have that now.
We
you know,
do.
And with the special cup, it's also giving back to the local veterans, so there's gonna be naysayers, which rightfully so, but I think we should really look into it and give it a shot, so.
I kind of looked into it a little bit, I haven't really gone a deep dive into it yet, but from looking at Marietta and Canton, and I think, you know, the drunk in the street thing is just kind of the Appalachian mindset, like they think that, you know, you're gonna have like a beer garden and everybody's gonna get trashed and people are gonna be laying around, and this is really not what this is. This is sealed containers that you can't take into another establishment. You have one drink, then you have to go to back into the establishment, you get one drink. You know, this is more about, you know, being able to have a beverage, a wine or something while you're, you know, a margarita while you're watching the bands play on the square, or while you're checking the art out on the alleys and stuff, from what I've seen. And from what, I mean, it's been a huge success in Canton and Marietta and a couple of different towns that have it and stuff, from what I've seen. So that's just, like I said, it's not a deep dive opinion, but.
Thank you.
And it could also bring a lot of other events that we're not even sure of yet. You know, we got First Friday in Canton, there could be something very similar in New Philly. And Dora, I mean, in the middle of January, we've had a pretty warm winter. This is probably only gonna be used 6 months out of the year, probably, depending on the weather. I don't know if people are gonna be going from bar to bar with this cup when it's -10 out and it's windy. You know what I mean? So I think we really just need to really look at it, kind of keep our minds open as far as where it could go. And I think at the end of the day, Chris and I have talked about it, that if it's bad, you can pull the strings on it, so. But that's all I got, thank you.
Thank you.
We may need to hire an outside agency that kind of specializes in this, because there's requirements for mapping and forms that have to be submitted, and things of that nature, just so everybody's aware.
My 2 cents on this thing is basically, I think we ought to crawl before we walk. And I wouldn't see a problem with doing special events. I would think that that could be a, you know, it could enhance and then a special event. I've talked to the police chief, and at this point, it's just like, well, if a call comes in, we'll just have to handle it. It's just an additional call. But I think we could do it on like, set it up for, start out with special events. And if it really looks like it's something that's really gonna go, then we could open it up to, you know, a 5-day or a 6-day, you know, however it wanted to be set up. But I just think starting right out of the gate, let's just crawl with this thing and see how it works. I know for a fact that not everyone downtown is in favor of it, and, but once again, there needs to be a lot of research done here. And, once again, I just think we need to crawl before we walk.
I agree.
Mike, I just would encourage everyone to read section 4301.82 of the Ohio Revised Code. And as Mr. Law Director has said, there's forms, guarantees, and different things that have to be filled out, and responsibility to the city and the city taxpayers for this. So,
I don't think anybody expects us to start March 1st. I mean, so, I know I've had conversations with Mitch and Mike, not together, separately. And, you know, this is definitely gonna take some time. But I have done these in Worcester, Louisville, and Canton. You know, I was at Mustard's with 3 other couples for dinner on Friday. Had it been a summer, that's when, like, the people that I was with are the people that will utilize this program. We weren't out until 11 o'clock at night. We weren't out till 10 at night. You know, if we were gonna use it, we walk downtown, sit on a bench, whatever, hang out. Those are the type of people that typically utilize this program. And I encourage, unfortunately, it's not the time of year to go, but I would encourage people to go to these other communities that are doing it. There is a curfew with it. There's a lot of rules with it. Like, we're not gonna have this thing open until midnight. And when we get to set that as a group, if we go that far and decide to do it, we can set the curfew at 9 and it's open. You know, you can't be out with the glass. There's so many rules to make this safer and better for our community. And that's what I'm on here, is better our community. And I do believe it's a good program if it's utilized correctly. And I do not believe it will bring problems that I've actually had a lot of people reaching out to me that don't really fully understand it. They think that people are gonna be walking down the road with a cup at 11 o'clock at night. No, I don't know of anybody that has it unless there's a special event that goes later, ever, and no one has it past 9 or 10 that I'm aware of, even in the summer, even with events. So I think there's just a lot more fact-finding, and I'm glad Mike's gonna take his time with this, because I think we need to, and I'm glad Cheryl's digging in too, and I'm not on the committee, but I'll be here to, do my own research and talk to any of you as well, so that's my few comments.
I could have, public,
All right, number one,
why don't you go to the microphone, state your name and address,
The
Up to the
podium.
microphone.
get a podium, I'm sorry,
Podium.
it would help with like,
because we are streaming this, so that we,
I'm John Reed with National Furniture, 155 South Broadway. None of you people are gonna have to deal with this. I'm the one that has to deal with it. I've been here for 40 years. I've been in the location I'm at since '98. I've broken up fights, and this is during the daytime, when I'm there. I've broken up a fight. I've had drunks fall down, bust their faces open, and this is before you're letting anybody come out with beer. I understand people like to wander around, they like to feel really good about it. You're not helping many bar owners. I mean, maybe you're helping too. I don't want somebody coming in my store, even with a sealed glass, and spilling it on a piece of furniture. I don't think there's any reason to have it. The bar, other than bustards, the bars want to keep the people in their bar. If they want to walk around, they'll walk around. But having a beer in is not going to make a difference as far as walking around. You have a question?
Mike, it's your committee.
I do not have any questions. I
Yeah.
appreciate
All
your
right,
input.
yeah, well, also I'd like to ask, how many of you have a business in the area that's gonna be, affected by this ordinance?
I don't
You
think
do,
that's-
because you want it.
You want to ask. They addressed the chair, right?
Mike, it's his committee.
Well, thank you. I
Okay.
don't think anybody on this council has a business. Thank you.
Mike, since we're almost time to start.
Yeah.
I would suggest that, I'm all for public participation. Those that you have not gotten a chance to speak yet, during visitors' comment time, you're welcome to say something. Also, if you wanna contact any of the members on council, our emails and I think phone numbers are all available on, the website, and I like to hear from the residents. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm sure that you like to hear the concerns of the residents because we're elected to represent the residents of New Philadelphia. So, thank you.
Well, I think the next step is we will plan a public meeting where it's not on a council evening where we're time strapped. We will get that out to the community. We'll discuss that and we'll set that time and day where everybody can be there. So, is there anything else to come before this committee?
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Yeah.
I just would like to know where this idea even came from. I appreciate that all of you have a job to do, but your job is to represent the community. And so if somebody didn't send you a letter and say, hey, we want to do this, and you don't have a lot of people in your community pushing for it, then I don't really understand why even it would have been brought up outside of the desire of this local body. I think that sounds a little bit foolish to me. I think also, as and I've just been sitting here listening, but we're talking about we need to do more exploration, more of this, more of that before we can make a decision on it. That also sounds foolish because it sounds like a waste of funds that are allocated to the community to look into something that you don't even know if the community supports. And I would just ask whomever, when the last time you got on the phone with somebody that's not sitting at these tables and said, hey, what do you think about this? I'll say, I found out about it by reading about it in a newspaper. Nobody from this council called me. Nobody from this council has ever called me. I've never had any interaction with anybody on the city council or anything like that, and we're paying y'all to kind of just keep it the way it is, right? We're not trying to develop new things and become, you know, we don't want to be New York City, especially not today. So it seems a little foreign to me to say, you know what, the taxpayers are paying us to do, come up with new ideas to generate income for other local businesses. That doesn't even,
Can I answer that?
Yeah,
real quick?
absolutely.
That was actually brought to us, this whole Dora thing was brought to us by a downtown business owner.
okay? So one guy brought it up?
Yes.
Great.
He's
Okay.
right there.
So can this one guy shoot it down? If
No.
one guy can bring it up, one guy ought to be able to take it down, right? He has the same vote I do, doesn't he? That's what I'm saying. I just think before the council decides on it, it should go to a public vote of some sort where the public gets to make a decision on it.
Well, we're gonna have more public hearing on it for
Great.
everybody to talk.
What's your name, sir? We didn't get your name. and
My name is
address.
Josh,
Josh.
Josh Davis.
An address,
And my address?
yeah.
1113 12th Street, Northwest.
Carrie?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
will I have an opportunity to make a few comments during the visitors'
Yeah.
comments?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's open to everybody at that time, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do I get a motion to adjourn the? I'll move. I need a second?
Oh, you don't need a
I
second.
don't need a
For-
second. Okay, motion adjourned at, I can't see the clock.
7:30.
7:30.
Right on time.
There you go.
We're ready.
All right, this meeting of New Philadelphia City Council will now come to order. Would you please rise, remain standing for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Mr. Walker.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us and our guests together safely this evening. We pray that you will guide our council members as we discuss matters regarding our wonderful city. We pray that we make decisions that are moral and rational, that our motivation in everything we do is in the good of the people's interest, but ultimately through you. We are grateful for our mayor, our safety forces, and those that are serving our city. Remind us that we are in a position not to be served, but to serve as Christ Jesus came to serve us. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. All right, welcome everybody here tonight. We'll start off with roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell,
Here.
Mr. Lonzer,
Present?
Mr. Pace,
Present?
Mrs. Ramos,
Here.
Mr. Rippet,
Present.
Mr. Simmelink,
Present.
Mr. Walker.
Present.
All right, everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda tonight? Mr. Walker?
Yes, sorry,
Oh, are they?
sorry.
The-
I don't,
I thought you
Oh,
said
that's
Next
right.
meeting.
next
Yeah.
next meeting.
Next meeting, all right. Are there any additions to the agenda? Here down, take a motion to approve the agenda.
No, I'll make a
Next,
motion.
please. Okay, Mr. Walker, second. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Pace,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell,
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Rippet,
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink.
Yes.
All right, agenda has been approved. Minutes, everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from our last council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve.
I move.
Mr. Zimmerlich, thank you. Need a second?
I'll second it.
All right, thanks, Chris. Any discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Simmelink,
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Rippet,
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to correspondence. Ms. Courtwright.
To council and administration from Mayor Day. This is dated January 25th, 2024. This is an email titled "The Unveiling of Lacey Pack Communication Boards at Tuscarora Park." To council clerk from Treasurer Gerber dated February 1st, 2024. This is the investment and savings report for January of 2024. To council and administration from income tax administrator for the city Carla Luz dated February 1st, 2024. This is the January month-end reports for the city of New Philadelphia. To council and administration from Mayor Day dated February 2nd, 2024. This is an email titled "Springvale Rapid Care Open House Ribbon Cutting" with an invitation to the event as the attachment. And to council and administration from Mayor Day dated February 12th, 2024, the mayor's report. And that concludes correspondence for this evening, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Ms. Courtwright. We'll move on to our administrative reports. First up, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members, fellow administrators, and guests. A couple things I want to highlight in the report that I sent you earlier today, and then I'd like to give the remainder of my time to Michaela Thomas to tell you about an effort that she's undertaken at Newtown Mall. But first, over $3.7 billion. That's how much money the state of Ohio is holding in its state budget stabilization fund, otherwise known as the Rainy Day Fund. And as the attached graphic shows, this graphic, it'll be posted on our website. All the council people got this, as well as the URL to see it on the web. As this graphic shows, the number has been increasing since 2022 and is on track this year to hit its maximum balance allowed by law. Ohio's 88 counties used to receive 3.68% of the state's general revenue fund to disperse to municipalities and townships as local government funds, or LGF. In 2012, the Ohio legislature slashed the percentage to 1.66% to fill the state's projected $8 billion budget hole. In the state's last fiscal budget, that LGF percentage was increased to 1.7%. I bring this to your attention, Council, because New Philadelphia, as are many Ohio cities, is facing increased operating costs. In our case, funding safety forces. Inflation is taking its toll on city finances. It might not be raining in Columbus, but it's sure raining here in New Philadelphia and Tuscarawas County. I brought this to the attention of State Senator Al Landis, and he's agreed to a meeting to discuss the local government funding and our need to see the percentage restored to 3.68% or higher. The state of Ohio can clearly afford it. In the future, city taxpayers could face a decision to pay more for safety forces while the state sits on that amount of money waiting for a rainy day. Also, I want to give a shout out here to Councilman Chris Kreinbuhl and other members of the New Philadelphia Youth Soccer Association. They've taken it upon themselves to raise the money needed to install fencing around the high school soccer field and build new dugouts and bleachers. Our kids will greatly benefit from your efforts, and I appreciate that. The city is also helping out with the improvements by spreading a new layer of crushed stone over the soccer field's parking lot. Now, we can get the projector fired up again. Thank you. Green light. Okay, hold on. I have Michaela's presentation here on my laptop. So let me do this. Hold on, Michaela. All right. Let's see if we can plug this in. Okay, you see me?
Searching.
No?
Not yet. Oh, there's your, yeah, it's there. Your computer's there.
My
But
computer.
it's not on that. That's weird.
Too. Thank you.
There you are.
Thank
There I am?
Yep.
Okay, hold on here. Everybody close their eyes while I type this in.
Well, if you went on to the live feed on the YouTube page, yeah, if you click on the link that is on Facebook, on the city page, you're able, because I have
That's
it
gonna be
on
my
there.
luck, but Bill Gates wants to update my laptop. Okay, her day job is the Community Engagement Director for the Stark County Sheriff's Department. And in her spare time, Michaela Thomas created the very popular Newsy Mom website, which is full of information for moms of all ages. Now, she has launched a new project for moms called Flourish, and it's located at Newtown Mall. President Kemp, I'd like to invite Michaela to the floor to make this presentation about a concept for Flourish and how I feel it will greatly benefit our community.
Come on in.
Thank you, Mayor, I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody's time. My name, as the mayor explained, is Michaela Thomas. I'm actually a Tuscarawas County native. I was born in Tuscarawas County, went to Indian Valley High School, graduated from Penn State University Tuscarawas, and started my career at WTUZ Radio. As Michaela Madison, my alias, I feel like Superman sometimes. So I started there back in 2008, and my career went all kinds of fun directions. And as the mayor explained, Newsy Mom has been serving mothers since 2016. And this next exciting expansion I'm going to tell you about tonight very quickly, and goodness knows, I have a radio background, I could talk a lot longer, but is really an expansion of our mission to send out and serve moms. So starting with the state of motherhood, and Mayor, if you would please, I appreciate that. So a few things that we know about motherhood, okay? 52% of working moms
Whoops.
For 52% of working moms say the cost of childcare has made them consider leaving the workforce. I know we have some local business owners, correct? I'm sure everyone here has struggled with employees, finding and retaining employees. Now, we know that parents are affected across the board, but mothers were the ones to leave their jobs during the pandemic, primarily in the majority. We know that 2 times more women became stay-at-home moms in 2023 than in 2022. 64% of mothers need flexible work schedules in order to return to work, more than half. If they just had some flexibility, then they would be able to return to work and help us with our workforce issues. 58% of moms report they are the primarily responsible for duties of running the household and caring for the children. 62% of mothers report getting less than 1 hour to themselves each day. Okay? 1 hour to themselves each day. Think about the impact on mental health and productivity. And 32% report anxiety, relationship issues, postpartum issues, depression, so on and so forth. You with Mayor? So what do we talk about? A lot of this sounds like a personal impact, of course, but there is a community impact to these issues. When we look at this, we talk about a reduced female participation in the workforce. I know at the Stark County Sheriff's Office, like many law enforcement agencies across the state, there is a goal to reach 30 by 30. What that means is 30% female population on the workforce by 2030. 30% is the goal, okay? We need more women in the workforce, right? Okay, so loss of skilled workers, and that's parents across the board. You know, some dads are having to stay home with their kids because of a lack of childcare options and accessibility. This obviously has an impact on decreased economic growth, increased dependency ratio for those who are able to work. So what that means, of course, that everyone here understands, there's fewer people to do the same amount of work. So that falls heavy on our employees that we have now. Talent acquisition challenges related to attracting and retaining. Again, I go back to our local business owners, right? We have to work harder, and this is across the industries. At the Sheriff's Office, we are constantly trying to figure out how can we get people in the door to work here? You know, we've got great jobs, great benefits. Childcare, right? Maybe if we look at that as a component. Increased mental health issues among our parents, workplace productivity. Mental health impacts our productivity when we're in the workforce. So I want to introduce you tonight to Flourish by Newsy Mom. This is an expansion of what we've set out to do almost 8 years ago, which is serve our local families in a way that is real life. What does the real life mean? Sometimes if you just ask, all of you here serve constituents, and you know that better than probably anyone. Hey, what can I help you with? What problems are you having? What solutions can I come up with? That's what we've done with Flourish. So Flourish is designed to empower mothers to harness their infinite potential by providing a serene and productive work environment and networking space paired with enriching activities for their children. They don't have to choose between finding time for themselves and ensuring their kids have adequate care and an enriching environment. Together, we've set out to cultivate a community where mothers, children, and their communities flourish, fostering deep connections and bright futures for everyone. So Flourish, in a nutshell, okay, we've all heard of traditional childcare, right? Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day, typically 7 to 5. That's fantastic. We need more of those. Flourish is not here to replace or to challenge those currently existing. We're here to fill a gap. We want to offer a service where you do not have to give us a guarantee Monday through Friday. You don't have to tell us that you're coming every single day in order to hold your spot. We are going to offer and we will be licensed by the state of Ohio, flexible, drop-in, part-time childcare. That is how the state designates us. What that means is 1 to 4 hours when you need us. 18 months to 5 years old. If you need us today from noon to 4, great. We'll see you in 6 months if you don't need us again. But we're here the next time you need us. We will be at Newtown Mall because that is by design. That's not just the only place that we can get in. It is intentional because Newtown Mall is not dying, and I keep saying this over and over again. I've told people we're doing this, and they said, Newtown Mall? Really? You guys have all heard this, right? You're going to Newtown? Yes, I'm going to Newtown Mall on purpose. It's fantastic, and there's a lot of really cool things happening. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's dying. It's different. And we want to be there so that when mom wants to get her nails done, come drop your kid off for 2 hours, go get your nails done. Go shopping. Go work on a college paper if you're pursuing a degree at Penn State or maybe a certification at Buckeye. Have a cup of coffee. Here's an idea. Drop your kid off for 2 hours and go take a nap. Because that's okay. It is okay to take a break. It is okay to step away, rejuvenate, find respite. That way you can fill your cup back up again and go back and be the best version of yourself, because that's what your kids deserve. Okay? We will be open in coordination with mall hours, another unique component compared to some of our more traditional centers. We will be open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. So someone who's utilizing those traditional daycare options now, still use them, because we don't offer 8 hours a day. But when you get off work at 4 or 5 o'clock and you need to run to the grocery store, anyone ever shop for groceries with a 2-year-old? Okay, I mean, seriously, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Drop your child off for 2 hours, go grocery shopping, go spend a little bit of money downtown, have a date night with your husband or your wife on a Saturday night. Not everyone has family support, right? Not everyone has that village we hear so much about. Flourish is going to help create that for people. The important component of this is we will be state licensed. So we will be licensed by the state of Ohio, giving these kids the utmost quality care, attention, enriching environment, learning and educational opportunities. We will prioritize inclusion and sensory activities. We will have a nursing room available to mothers who are nursing. We will have a sensory-friendly room for children who maybe have high sensory disorder or are autistic or whatever the case may be. We will have public office spaces for parents to utilize inside of our space. Every now and then you need a closed door. That's okay too, right? So we're going to have all of that available at Newtown Mall, and it will be flexible. We will have flexible bookings, which means when you need us, and we'll have extended bookings. Maybe you work 2 days a week in retail and you know you need a sitter from 12 to 4, but you can't afford to pay for 5 days a week, which is the requirement in traditional care. So what's the impact, when we talk about this, that this could impact our community? Everything I have set out to do with Newsy Mom and Flourish, you don't do it by yourself, which is why I'm here today. You don't do anything successfully by doing it by yourself. It's a team effort, it's a community effort, and if there's ever one thing that I have absolutely adored about Tuscarawas County, it is the way we come together, right? I can remember growing up, and someone would say, "Where are you from?" Tuscarawas County. I wasn't from Janady. I mean, I was, but I was from Tuscarawas County. Everywhere was home to me, right? And so what is beautiful depiction of that is, I've been asked, are you going to do, JFS funding? Are you going to offer reduced rates? Are you going to offer sibling rates and sibling discounts? Realistically, that's hard to do and stay alive. Okay, it is difficult. Our solution to that is to give hours away for free. How does that make any sense? Because we're leaning on our community partners. Freeport Press has come in. They will be providing 8 hours of free care every Monday to parents when they come in. Families can get a free hour. Don't have to pay for anything. Wendy's, the Lane family, doing the same thing on Tuesdays. Empower Tusk is actually utilizing a promotional space within our facility to talk to parents about drug prevention, right? Keep your kids, have these conversations in a unique way. Everybody here that's a business owner has bought a digital ad, right? Paid for advertising on radio. My fellow radio background, we know that that's fantastic, but it's a working wheel. We need a lot of options to get the message out. We're giving those spaces inside where parents are already having conversations. So I've got to give a shout out to Freeport Press, Wendy's, and Empower Tusk, and we have others in the queue waiting to join our team as well and be part of this. So what can mothers utilize this for? And dads, we're not shying away from our dads, okay? They're welcome as well. Think about the mom who has a college paper she needs to finish at Kent Tusk. Maybe she wants to get her nursing degree and she's in this weird wheel right now where she can't afford care, but she needs care to get her degree. What do? Right? Well, you book your child a couple hours a week at Flourish and you study. Or you complete that paper. Maybe you have to do a conference call. Maybe you need a date night with your husband. And again, I emphasize, take a nap. Okay, there's just a judgment-free zone. I think that's probably coined, and I can't say that. But we're not judging you here. If you need a nap to rejuvenate, take it. We've got your kiddos, and they're safe, and they're protected. What's the community impact from this level? Well, it's a solution to the current child care crisis by providing more access to quality care when you need it. To my knowledge, this type of service doesn't exist, and definitely not in our community. So what would happen if it did, right? Workforce development by providing parents with time. Anyone here ever needed like 2 more hours a day? Okay, just like 30 minutes more a day. We've all experienced that. Let's give parents that extra time and see what they're capable of. Economic impact, well, guess what? Now they have a babysitter for a Saturday night, and we can explore downtown New Philadelphia and all the great things happening. And spend a little money, have a little fun, right? So, I leave you guys with the idea of what if. Now, I've served with Empower Test on the coalition for several years, had many conversations. I use this as an example because I always say prevention is sometimes thankless, right? Because do you ever really know what you prevented? Do you ever really know what you stopped from happening? How do you measure that, right? Similar to this, I want you to think, what if we gave mom that extra hour to just breathe? What if we gave her that extra hour to pursue a degree at Kent State? What if we let her go get a certification at Buckeye? What if we let her take a step back and get 2 hours a day to herself instead of 1? What would these people be capable of, and how would that impact our community? The beautiful thing in this case is that we don't have to imagine it. It is possible, and we are bringing it to Tuscarawas County. And if we give them the support that they need, we will actually be able to witness what it can do to New Philadelphia and what it can do to Tuscarawas County as a whole. So I come tonight to introduce you guys all to Flourish. We will be opening in May. You will start seeing a lot of buzz around the mall leading up to that. We'll start enrollment process formally in April. I ask that you please share the flyer, tell your friends, tell whoever you know that has young children, and if you know of any organizations that would like to be part of the initiative, please do not hesitate to reach out. How'd I do? Was I in my time frame?
You were in your time.
Woo, okay.
Good job, Michaela.
I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. President, that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I have one.
Yes.
With respect to the local governments fund, would it be helpful if this council were to take up a resolution and encourage our state legislators and the governor to reinstate those funds for us?
That'd be very helpful, Mr.
Then I would ask Mr. Fate to please draft such legislation, which I'm sure Mr. Kemp's gonna send right back to me in finance.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But we can also email them and make calls.
Oh, yeah.
and-
Most definitely.
Yeah,
we should.
and I will tell you, Senator Landis has indicated that he'd like myself and whoever else wants to come with me to go to Columbus in May or June and testify before the Senate. This would be a Senate committee, the Finance Committee, Carrie?
In the Senate,
Yeah,
that's probably where it would be.
yeah. So, you know, we'll take our case down there.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mayor. Service Director, Mr. McAbeer.
Oh, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr.
Before I sit down, I request an executive session after legislation is read to discuss a personnel matter in the Service Director's Department.
All right, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Pace. Need a second?
Second.
All right, thanks, Tom. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mr. Similink.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzo.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippet.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to executive session after the legislative session. Now, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The mayor had already, I just want to expand a little bit on the mayor's report about the soccer fields, the way they've come along, and I just want to say thank you also to Mitch Pace, Councilman Pace. As far as we have two folks here today that have expanded. If anybody's seen the ball fields, what Mr. Pace has done with the baseball fields, taking them on and really get out front, and now we have Chris that's really getting out there in front of the soccer fields. Much needed for many years. Please go down to the soccer field. We should probably finish stoning it tomorrow, and what a difference it's made with the other stuff that's been going on down there. And you will be wowed by just the way it's turned out and looked. And I just want to personally thank Chris and personally thank Mr. Pace. I know we've worked together a lot, Mitch, to get things done, but it's been something that's pretty impressive as far as what they've done to our baseball fields, and now with Chris doing something with the soccer fields. And I'd like to say for the first time in over 8 years, I have no report, but I will take questions.
Any questions for Mr. McAbeer?
Just a statement.
Yes, Mr.
I would
Herbert.
just like, on behalf of Buckeye Career Center, the street department did a fine job of helping us to put up some notification signs this weekend for an event that we were holding at Buckeye, where we were crossing University Drive back to Kent State, back and forth. And we appreciate their cooperation and work in helping us to control that traffic pattern a little bit. We pulled off a very safe disaster simulation, thanks to them.
Thank you, and I'll make sure that I mention that to Ray Gruel and Kyle.
Thank you.
And
All right,
if I
thank
can
you,
just make
Mr.
a statement too.
Yes, Chris.
Ron, thank you though, because you've been helpful while I tried to get this soccer project rolling and answering phone calls, texts. This is before I was even on city council, and I appreciate it, and shout out to Rod Miller too, it's been great in helping there too, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. President, I
Yes.
just want to say, I think it shows between the community, the administration, what can be done with soccer, baseball, whatever it may be. And it's fun to be a part of.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it is.
So certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Glad
you.
you feel that way.
All right, thanks. Move on, Safety Director, Mr. Popham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. First off, I'd like to let everyone know that on January 30th, 2023 police cruisers were delivered to the city, and I'd like to thank everyone in here for that. Also, probably by the end of this evening, the police department will have answered this year over 1,200 calls so far. And I want to give really a hats off to them. In the last several months, and I can't go into it because they're all pending investigations, there's been some major crimes that have been basically solved here in New Philly through the great work of the officers in the police department. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Popham. Any questions? All right, move on to Auditor, Ms. Gundy is excused tonight. Treasurer, Mr. Gerber.
No report, sir.
All right, thank you. Law Director, Mr. Fate.
No reports this evening, Mr. President, thank you.
Well, move on to our Board Commission reports. Planning Commission, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Planning Commission will be meeting here in council chambers tomorrow at 1 p.m. And we will be discussing the zoning study that's ongoing, and also the auction of some city parcels on Commercial Avenue.
All right. Any questions for Planning Commission? Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board of Zoning Appeals will not be held tomorrow. No variance request is to be heard.
All right, thank you. Airport Commission, Mr. Lonzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the onset of the pandemic, we moved the airport meetings here to council chambers so we'd be able to spread out more and stuff. And after discussion with the administration and different things, we decided to move it back to the airport and have our meetings there. And the first one's gonna be tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the conference meeting room at the airport. One of the main reasons we decided to do it was just so we have a lot of new members coming on. And, you know, I've been on the airport for 10 years and I'm still questionable what a PAPI is exactly. But this way, you know, we can actually get out and see the.
You can walk out and touch it.
Get out and touch everything, get out and see what it is we're voting on and, you know, we can do little field trips every meeting, spend 10 minutes after the meeting to go look at stuff, so. And we are having a meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the airport.
I won't be there.
I'm not in town. So, that's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lonzer. Park Board, Mr. Pace.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things. The Field One at Tuscarora Park, the fence has been completed. That's an ongoing project. Ran by Turf Tuscarora Diamond. A couple community members got together and put that on. The scoreboard's up, fence is done. So we're continuing to move through that. And then there's work going to be done on the batting cages. We're looking to get those removed. Working with Mr. McAbeer again on that, and local business looking to donate their time and labor. So that, and then it's also in the mayor's report, RTY's got a new train coming, I think, in May. A mini Ferris wheel for the little kids, got all kinds of good stuff going on at the park. But we are meeting, I believe it's this Wednesday at noon at the Park Pavilion, so. there's a
Buster
few-
Fishing Derby.
Oh, and we also got the second annual New Philadelphia Trout Derby at Tuscarora Park on April 28th, last Saturday in April, I think it's the 28th. Bunch of news will be coming out on that, so it's one of my crowning achievements.
Yeah.
It'll be a great event, so.
Any questions for Mr. Pace?
When is open gym for our little leaguers on Sunday at the Quaker Dome? Do we have a time
10U will
yet?
be 3 to 4:30.
4:30. Thank you.
Don,
Yes, Mr. McAvoy.
not a question, but just a statement. That'll also be the last weekend that Mr. Rod Miller will be the park superintendent. He'll be retiring on that Monday, so that Derby will be his last hurrah.
I'm thinking we should fly the flags at
I
half-staff for him.
believe something we should be after, what do you say, 54
And it's
years?
actually April
Yeah, 54
27th.
years.
54 years,
Probably
so,
be a day of mourning.
yeah,
The Derby is April 27th.
All right,
Mr. Miller's gonna make the first cast.
so.
all right.
That's awesome.
All right, we move on to Health Board, Mr. Similic,
Health Board meets Wednesday at noon,
this Wednesday.
this Wednesday at noon, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. All right, move on to council committee reports. First up is finance, Mr. Ribbit.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report tonight, but I will be reaching out to the members of the Finance Committee to put together a work session to be looking at the budget here within the next several days.
All right, thank you. Public Works and Economic Development, Mr. Lonzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
All right, Safety, Health and Service, Mr. Similic.
No reports.
All right, Zone and Annexation, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President, no report.
Salary, Mr. Granville.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
All right, Cemetery Board, Mr. Pace.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did not meet this month, but the fence on the Fair Avenue side of the cemetery was wrecked into, I think it was back in maybe October, maybe November, don't quote me on that, but it was fixed. So the fence on the Fair Avenue side of the Ray Avenue Cemetery is now fixed. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Contact and Special, Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met this evening at 7 PM and adjourned at 7:30. We have 2 ordinances that will move to the next council meeting for their first reading, and 2 that were tabled for more information. We moved forward a liquor permit request, so that is going to move forward. And we had a brief discussion about DORA, and that will end up becoming a public meeting on a non-council meeting evening. And that's all my report is. We adjourned at 7:30.
And then a roll call.
Do we need to put that one down?
Roll call for the liquor license.
Yeah, we need, point of order, we need to call for a voice vote
Okay.
on the,
The Primos.
So we need a voice vote?
Yes, need a motion put on for voice vote, right?
We don't need a motion, we just need the voice vote.
All right. All right, I call for the voice vote for the liquor license for Uncle Primo's.
Mr. Kreinbell?
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer?
Yes.
Mr. Pace?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
yes, but I would like to point out that we're just agreeing we don't need a
Public
hearing.
hearing,
It's not
correct.
that we're approving the liquor license,
No,
the
that's the
state
state.
does that.
Yes.
Mr. Rippeth?
Yes.
Mr. Similink?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So we approved to not have a hearing on the license renewal. All right, the floor is now open for visitors' comments. Anyone wishing to address council should rise. State your name and address, address all comments to the chair. You will have 5 minutes. So Carrie, yes. I don't know.
5 days.
Start the clock.
Better get a stopwatch.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to speak on this issue that's near and dear to our heart at the Empower Tusk Coalition. I don't know if all of you know or not what the Empower Tusk Coalition is a coalition of 12 different sectors throughout Tuscarawas County, including business, health, parents, school districts, and the like. We have hundreds of members involved with the coalition, and our function is to reduce youth, drug use, misuse, and we've taken up also under our umbrella suicide prevention. So that's where the context is, where Empower Tusk will be fully engaged in your discussions as you determine whether or not a DORA is really a good idea to initiate here in New Philadelphia, Ohio. We have many questions, but you know, I know you have an executive session. I know how long those things can last. But I do want to say this. As you contemplate through the time period is when you're trying to make that decision. Empower Tusk main concern, we have all these concerns about the fact of open container, whether you want to call it open container, closed or whatever, and the issue of trash and crime and stuff. But that's not where we're focused on. We are focused on changing the community norm. And as you go into discussions with this, you need to keep in the back of your mind, is this the right thing to do so that we do not change a community norm? Because study after study has shown that as you weaken with alcohol or any intoxicating drugs, as you weaken that, the youth look at it as in a perception that it's not harmful. You know, we have a very conservative community here in New Philadelphia and throughout Tuscarawas County. And I just want you to keep in the back of your mind, because that's the approach that the Empower Tusk Coalition is going to take on this, as we're, as we said, fully engaged in these discussions, is are you willing to change the community norms that will impact the youth in our community? With that being said, I'm looking forward to the meetings with the chairman, and you know, my hope is that. Oh, I do want to say one thing. Empower Tusk is available for information as you make these decisions. We'll provide you with any information that you need in order to make an informed decision as to whether or not changing community norms is the right way to go. So, again, thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Kerry. Anyone else? Come up to the podium, state your name and address.
My name is Dale Burke. I live at 1003 Ray Avenue Northeast. Sitting here listening to everybody today and what you've been saying about this idea for the downtown area, the thing that troubles me about it is that it seems like in every community, their solution to economic situations seems to be alcohol. I'm really concerned about what kind of a message we're sending to our children, because in schools, we tell our children, stay away from drugs, stay away from alcohol. And then as adults, we say, it's okay and it's necessary if you want to have fun. So when you're thinking about this situation for the downtown area, I agree with the gentleman on this side. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. I agree that possibly it should be contained, which it is in other towns around the area, like Dover has their festival. They have a beer garden, they have it roped off, and you don't leave that area with a container. I could see that being feasible if the arts wanted to have a festival or something like that, then they could contain it to a small area around where they're having the festival. But when you open it up to the city or the area that I saw online that they want to open it up to, you're affecting businesses that have nothing to do with that idea, because people will not want to come down and bring their families into town and use those businesses if you've got people walking around town with containers of alcohol in their hand. And that's not even taking into account how many they had before they bought the one that they left the establishment with. As far as city expense, you'll find out as it goes, if you forward this, that there are actually probably some hidden costs in conducting a situation like this. And we have rehab programs for people who have let these addictions of alcohol and drugs get out of hand, but yet we are, in a way, inadvertently stoking the fire by making moves like this in the downtown area with the dollar sign being the bottom line. So I ask everybody, you know, again, like you said, move forward cautiously. But again, if you have to move forward cautiously, maybe it's not such a good idea. If all these other cities say, well, it's great, we have no problems, I hardly think that's the situation. There's got to be some hidden situations there. So I just wanted to come. This is my first time to ever do anything like this, and I'm almost going to guarantee you're going to see me again here. So it's a good educational experience to be here and listen to everything that's going on in this city. And I do thank you for your time tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Everybody
your
have a good
comments.
evening.
Anyone else? Yes.
I'm Jim Nyes. I live at 322 Bowers Avenue Northwest. Just wanted to address, I respect everyone's opinions. I understand that there was going to be some controversy with a decision like this. I'd just like to say to Marvin's question about hiring an outside firm, Coshocton did hire an outside firm, although some of the other cities did not. But I just want to let you know that a couple of the mayors, Ashland and Coshocton, actually offered us, I think Worcester also, to copy their legislation so that we would decrease any time and effort we would have to put into developing a plan of our own. So that is available, and if you'd like some help getting a hold of those people, I would be happy to do that. I did not hear from any of the other cities that we had some of the problems that have been brought up here today. If anyone in the committee or the council would like for me to interview more cities, I'd be willing to do that. I only had 5. I tried to get a spectrum of smaller than us, our size, and larger than us, and I did get that spectrum. We did not notice any problems in those cities. If they were hiding them from me, I'm not aware of that, but one was the assistant chief of police that said they'd have absolutely no problems. The mayor of Ashland thought they would have some problems. They even went to the extent of dating the stickers they put on the cups so that someone couldn't use them over at a later date, and said that that had never become a problem. And we did ask about underage drinking and those problems. No one saw an increase in that over what normally they have. Or public intoxication, trash is an issue at any festival, but on a regular basis, as Chris mentioned, I think it's more an issue on a regular day of just a couple that wanted to go down and sit on a bench, or maybe go into one of the stores that allows DORA. This committee that I'm a member of thinks that, well, our concept and the reason we're developed is to try to support not just the downtown, but make this a better city for everyone. And certainly, we want everybody to get on board with what we're doing. My wife and I personally have invested a lot of time and money in the downtown businesses to improve our community, not just to run businesses. So we're asking that the city take a really good look at this. We're asking for some help. And luckily, it's one of those helps that I don't think is going to cost the city anything. So thanks for your time.
All right, thanks, Jim. Anyone else? All right, I thank you for your comments tonight, and we'll be Facebook, we'll try to communicate when we have our next meeting, so forth, so we'll do the best we can to get it out to the public so they know that we're gonna have a meeting. All right, move on to council comments. Any council members have comments tonight? All right, here and then we'll move into our legislative agenda.
Ordinance number 9, 2024, an ordinance by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to permanently rezone the following parcels in the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, from residential zone to business zone and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council tonight? Hearing none, be held for a third reading at our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Ordinance number 10, 2024, an ordinance by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to permanently rezone the following parcel in the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, from residential zone to industrial zone and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council on this tonight? Hearing none, it will be held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
That concludes legislation.
And though that I'm sure will be a public hearing we need to have, right, for both those ordinances?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
and
already
she already
scheduled.
set out the
Well, I
notice.
just want everybody else to know, so
Yeah.
at the third reading, we will have a, it's open to the public to bring their
absolutely.
comments. All right, we will adjourn into executive session. We'll give 5 minutes here. It's 8:16, so 8:20. Our session is 8:42. Is there any unfinished road business for this evening? Is there any new business for council this evening? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. 8:42, we are adjourned.